Well, welcome to another edition of Wine Time Yakima, a new series here on KIMA where we're meeting local personalities who are either part of the news or behind the news, and hopefully to get to know them a little bit better. And today our guest here at the Yakima Visitor Center, and we want to say a big thank you to them again for hosting us today, is Charlie Robin, who is the CEO of the Capitol Theatre here in downtown Yakima.
Personified, you know.
Here in person. Now, Charlie, you actually chose the wine yourself from the Visitor Center.
Indeed.
They've been very kind in sharing this with us, and it's from the Gilbert Winery.
Gilbert Cellars. And it is one of the choice wines that we have at the Capitol Theatre. And they're simply an extraordinary collection of wines and have a tremendous history in the valley, so I figured. And
this is an unoaked Chardonnay.
Yes, it is.
Now, are you a white fan?
I'm a white fan. I'm a bit non-discriminating in that way, I must say. I am a one-drink wonder, but I am non-discriminating.
Well, look, it's a Saturday night, so we can drink whatever we like, but I like a white too. But
indeed.
Cheers. Very nice to see you. Oh, that's very nice indeed.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not my first, but I'll go ahead and have another.
Yeah, cheers. Well, great to see you, Charlie.
Indeed.
Now, for people who don't perhaps go to the theatre all that often, they won't know you very well.
Wound me.
But you're someone I have had the pleasure of interviewing a number of times, but only about work. So this is the first time we've had a chance to sit down and chat about Charlie Robin. Now, so how did you get to the Yakima, the Capitol Theatre? Because that's not where you came from. You're not from this area.
I am from St.Louis. I'm a born and raised Midwesterner from St. Louis. The whole bit. Did 49 years before I escaped home. Before I left. Before I moved to Yakima. I'm a tremendous ambassador for St. Louis. I absolutely love who they are, what they are as a community. They shift a lot from what it was in my childhood, but it's a lovely, lovely place. But I had a job change. And after many years working in the industry, working at an academic institution that had then shifted its priorities, it said, we'll pay you while you're looking for a new job and go look. And it's never so humbling as to find out that you're really respected in your industry when you go and look for a job. And I had offers and inquiries from as far away as Australia and London, and it's like, well, in the words of Sally Fields, they like me. They really like me. So I was really, my husband and I just put it out there. It's like, let's just find where we want to be next. And one of the consultants, headhunters I was working with, had worked with me on several processes and had said, take a look at Yakima. I said, you tell me what Yakima is and I will look at it. And I did, and in the whole process of looking through this, I said, why this one? She said, I've learned you're not looking for a title, you're looking for a community. And she was right. I was really specifically looking for a community that had the wherewithal to do something really extraordinary, was already doing extraordinary things, and where could I make a difference by simply augmenting, collaborating, working with others. And it's been a tremendous choice. We've been here for 10 years now and absolutely loving it.
Gosh, it's so strange. I mean, we've had the same kind of arrival here for the same way. That's exactly what attracted me as well.
Yeah.
Now, before you were, though, working in theatre...
here we go.
Yes, well, you're the one who told me.
I shared information. Let's see which ones he's choosing to share.
We're going to share this with our viewers because you did an awful lot of really fun things. So in high school, reception hall janitor.
Yes.
That doesn't sound very glamorous or theatre related at all.
No, and I'm sure part of my hearing loss will ultimately come from the fact that I had to stand by the speakers for all the rock bands that were playing on, once a month. Yeah.
Mowing, shoveling, snow, gardening, all of that was in your high school years. But then you did, when you got into college, the theatre seemed to play a little bit of a more part. A singing waiter and a singing telegram. Now I have to hear about that. I hope you were fully dressed.
Depending upon the singing telegram. The singing telegram was a tremendous opportunity. My poor professors, especially in the music department, because I was doing a business and music double major, but it was always my music classes that were early morning, and I would have to go in costume because I'd be delivering a singing telegram to some businessman at a board meeting, at a discussion that was early in the morning, and I'm coming in. I say businessman. I was the male messenger, so it was always women that I was delivering to.
Right.
So it was always a woman, and heaven help, they would. At 8 in the morning, you do not want to see a 6'6", at the time 170 pound, thin as a rail, faux doctor with a Groucho Marx nose and mustache stripped down to a male belly dancer. It was quite the look, but I was very entertaining, and that was the augmentation beyond the singing telegram, because of course you would sing,
Yes.
and then you.
The belly dancing bit was the bit that really caught my eye. So look around for some B-roll.
No one's going to find it. Unfortunately, I am so old, that has not been converted. The only reason I could go into politics is that no one's going to find that stuff.
Oh, I don't know. We'll have a look. I mean, that sounds just like an enormous amount of fun. I mean,
It was. I mean, it was everything from the dancing gorilla to the barbershop, straw hat guy. I mean, every different costume. It was attached to a costume shop, so there was any number of things that a victim or could be. Inflicted upon, given whatever the costume might be. I realized I needed to stop doing it though. When the day after Halloween, I had to show up at the home of a Shirley Black, who was she always loved Shirley Temple because Shirley Temple Black,
Right.
and so I had to show up as a 6'6", 170 pound, in a blue, powder blue, faux sort of baby girl. Sailor's outfit with a Marilyn Monroe blonde bombshell wig, blue comic eyelashes. I stepped out of the car, and there are these two old guys watering their lawns, either side of a driveway, and I'm stepping out of my 73 Gremlin. I'm just like emerging out of this vehicle in this attire, and these guys look at me. I went, I think I'm done with this. But I went in and sang and did a great job. So I had a lot of fun.
Good ship lollipop, I'm guessing.
One of the small bits, but we didn't rewrite the song, so it was to the specific occasion. So yeah.
But you did, for a while, at least it seems, you did pursue performing and getting into theatre itself on the stage rather than just behind the scenes.
More specifically, I augmented my income as a performer.
Right.
Because I did the business and music path collectively because I just learned early on I didn't have the mindset to be a gigging musician, to be a traveling, touring artist. It takes a lot out of a human being, out of any number of mental and physical impacts on the body, I knew it wasn't for me. And Dad always said, don't be the one who you're working for. Be the one you're working for rather than the one who's being worked. So being a manager has always been sort of like the expectation I had. As a big guy, I step into leadership roles apparently. So I just took that and had that be the standard. But along the way you pay the bills, especially when you're starting out and make your name and wanting someone to follow you, you end up doing a lot of things like singing telegrams and. Singing waiter, and I always said I would never work food service. And I unfortunately said, with the caveat, except of course if it was a singing waiter. And then of course this lovely dessert cabaret space opened up just down from our big massive theater in St. Louis. And I said, well, I'll do that.
But you do still perform because you do sing,
yeah.
particularly at Christmas time.
Yeah. The good Lord gave me a great voice, and I am very humbled by that. And I feel it's also a great reason to use it and share it. And it gets used regularly for good causes. I am the human bellow at any event. Anytime anyone needs everyone's attention, they say Charlie, and I know my cue. So yeah.
Well, yes, because of course you do all the introductions for the Capitol Theatre series. That's where I first saw you.
Of course.
Was that the only time I've seen you on stage?
Oh yeah.
But it's this great introduction. So when you came to Yakima, were you already married when you got here?
Yeah, my husband and I have been together now 33 years. On our 20th anniversary, we got married. And that was just a couple few years before we moved here, because that was when it was actually officially acknowledged. It was just before it was nationally acknowledged, but there were several states in which it was acknowledged. So we chose New York to get married in. So
I'm curious about this because I think Yakima is a wonderfully welcoming environment. I've loved it here. But there are certain elements here. Whenever we do a story about, for example, the Pride every year, we got bombarded.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a side. But you are very, very comfortable. You're very open about your marriage and your husband. It's something you discuss, quite, and I think that's wonderful. But have you had any sort of experience where you think, it's Yakima, I better not say anything?
Well, you have to understand, the board knew what they were getting. Because we'd gotten married just a couple years before we came, We also were on the national news. So we were one of the couples that was, we'll call it notorious, because my husband was fired from 2 jobs in the Catholic Church, working as a musician, a music director, and an educator, for taking a public stand contrary to the tenets of the Catholic Church. So lots of reasons. It's just my husband is an extraordinary, talented, loving individual, and people were pissed. And so when everyone found out that he had been fired, and they found out that us as a couple had been disrespected in that way, it became a major news story. It went from the local to the state to the national. So our wedding, when we chose to fly to New York to get married, as one of the states that would allow it, was covered by the New York Times. We went to see Priscilla, Queen of the Desert at the theater, and you can actually look this up on YouTube and find it. And the cast turned over their ovation at the end of the performance, honoring us and all that we had gone through just because we wanted to get married. So it was humbling as theater artists. It was humbling as theater artists to have that kind of experience. But at the same time, it was also tremendously moving to have individuals see that the hate that was being expressed by so many was being countered by so much love. And that was it. Coming here, they knew what they were getting. All the newspapers had this. If you Googled me, that was the information you could find most readily. So the board knew what they were getting. They made the decision that Yakima was ready, and thank goodness, because indeed Yakima was ready. And not that there weren't a few people who continue to have opinions in this regard, but my husband and I are very, very clear. There are enough community members here that need good, positive role models. And regardless of what any individual may think about what it means for me to be gay, I am a very good role model. And I expect that, if nothing else, I respect people, I honor the community they are in, I honor everything about them individually. I'm only there to make certain that they are as confident as they can be in their own lives. And that's what I'm about. And I think that's one of the things that we bring as a couple to this community. And we've had way more comments from people thanking us for being present and out in this community than we ever did about people who were being judgmental.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. I mean, I find Yakima is an extremely welcoming place in so many levels.
For the most part.
But in every community, even if you were to live in the Bay Area, for example, there are still those elements, etc. And I think you're right. Having role models such as yourself must be very inspiring for younger people who may be struggling.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Yeah. And Lord knows, if you can do all of that on a list and still have people hire you to lead an organization, yes, indeed.
That's a very, very good point. But you do actually perform with your husband. He sings too.
We do a holiday cabaret every year as a fundraiser. He is the music teacher at McKinley Elementary. So we do a fundraiser so that McKinley can do their annual holiday show, their annual winter concert in the Capitol Theater. Right. And to have all those kids at McKinley own the Capitol Theater as their hometown is great.
Now, when you arrived at the Capitol Theatre, I mean, it's such an historic building, it's iconic in Yakima, etc. But what did you find you'd inherited that you were going to have to change, or was there anything? Was there, you think, really just building on this great legacy?
First of all, a great legacy is a tremendous thing to receive as you arrive. The respect that this community has for the Capitol is bar none. And the community has reinvested time and again. But different philosophies are different philosophies. And one of the distinct differences was my predecessor thought if it looked like it needed a little work, people would give money. I'm like, People like to give money to successful things.
That makes sense.
So the more you have a place look successful, the more you can fill the seats, the more the carpets look like they're not a trip hazard. Those are the things that people respect. So a lot of it was a quick refresh. But at the same time, being new to the community, it was going to take me a good 10 years before I could do the kind of work that needed to really take, what this year we're celebrating 50 years since the fire. So this is where we're kicking off a campaign to really do a lot of those larger refreshes that would be required after 50 years. And what really was about was augmenting what was already being done successfully, which was the Broadway touring and those kinds of things, taking advantage of not only the historic space, but this lovely production center and studio space above it, which truly augments the number of things that can be done in the space in some exciting ways. And we've been sort of tweaking and finding ways. I'm always looking for the community to find new ways in which they can be engaged in this space, and that's what it is, an open invitation. But it's an open invitation especially to those communities that don't normally think that the theater is a place for them.
Gotcha, yeah.
Making connections in the Yakima Nation. There's always I'll wait for the invitation, and there's always and you're losing time that could be well spent in doing really cool things. The Latino community here doesn't find that like the Yakima Nation, that this is the way they express their cultural needs in a proscenium style, Western European style facility. So how do we change what we do? And I think the studio space, the 4th Street Theater really does provide some versatility in that regard.
Well, the versatility is the thing. I mean, the Capitol puts on so many different types of programs.
Yes.
I mean, it's the home of the symphony, but of course it has musical theater, but it has straight theater, drama, I mean. But it also, I've seen mime, I've seen wonderful things there, and there's the holiday shows, etc.
Yeah.
But you also have the Capitol Series talks, where people just come to engage with the audience.
The Town Hall Speaker Series, yeah.
The Town Hall, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Now, what inspires you each year to say, okay, so what's this season going to be this year that's going to make it distinctive? How do you go about creating the season?
Well, the first thing is great partners. The Yakima Symphony Orchestra and the Town Hall Speaker Series are 2 independent organizations, completely unrelated to the Capitol Theater Committee, which is the nonprofit that runs the facility, which is owned by the city. So I'm responsible for bringing things like the Capitol Best Series, the mix of Broadway stuff, things like that. The Town Hall Speaker Series, all those great speakers, that's a tremendous group of women, all volunteers, pulling this together annually in a really cool way. The Symphony, 11 concerts per year, awesome. Then we have a lot of independent promoters who rent the facility to put on things that the community will like. And it's finding all these key partners who have all this great decision-making ability and all this curatorial understanding for a community like ours that brings in the variety. And so I get a lot of credit for a lot of things, and I've got to make certain that the blend is right. But what's really lovely is the fact that it's all these other very talented people who know what they're doing using this tremendous facility.
Yeah.
So it really is about all their efforts more than anything.
And there's big renovations coming still, aren't there?
Yeah. With the 50th anniversary of the fire, commemorating that, and then 3 years later, the grand reopening, we're using that 3-year window to do the fundraising, to really do some major improvements and massive refresh from front to back. Really excited about that. More information on that coming out within the next several months, so keep an ear out.
Now, do you ever, as a performer in your past, do you ever feel frustrated when a show comes and you think, gosh, I'd love to be up on the stage, or you've really put that behind you now?
I sing at the drop of a hat. I drop in musical theater references as part of regular conversations. There isn't much that I feel that I'm not able to express myself. I believe that really it's important to express yourself regardless, in any possible way you can, creatively. And for me, that's with a voice that people over time have paid to hear. That being said, I'm not so frustrated because I know what it takes to make it possible for everyone else to do what they do, and not as many people can do that as can step on stage and do the really cool thing. It was going to be a very, very long time for me to become a popular artist in any way, shape, or form. I have a very conservative nature in my presentation. I am not going to be wild and exotic out there as a redhead, I already am. But the really specific thing is that as a 6'6" redhead, I couldn't be in a chorus.
No, this is true.
Any wedding picture I've ever been part of, it's like, here's the bride and groom and here's Charlie. There wasn't a chance for me to actually have the kind of immediate collection of work. So I was always doing things that my height was either a help, which was rare, or was less important.
Right.
My red hair, distinctive in and of itself. So I gave up really quick, that it bothered me. I couldn't do more because I focused a lot more on what I can do well. I get to sing, I get to do that regularly. That's enough. And then any chance I get to perform, I do.
But one of the things that you do also passionately in your spare time is knit, and you knit your own socks.
I knit my own socks. That way you get the color you like.
Yes.
You also, as a 6'6" person with a size 13 foot, anyone who has a large foot understands you can't find socks that fit because they fit a variety of sizes. and never this one. So this way I have socks that fit. Because I'm always got socks on the needles, I generally will offer them up as donations. I'll make custom-made, hand-knit socks for fundraisers.
And you do like scarves and hats and everything?
I do on occasion as well. I just honored our retiring board members from the Capitol Theater Committee, each with shawls and scarves as a thank you for their service. So I do what I can. It's mostly for friends. It's nothing I'm making money on, but it certainly is something.
It's a great hobby. Now, how's the wine?
The wine is
nice,
actually,
isn't it?
It's an Oak Chardonnay from Gilbert Cellars. It's nothing but exceptional.
It is very, very good. Well, Charlie, we'll end with some quick fire questions.
Oh, boom, here we go.
This is the unrehearsed bit. So, play or
like any of this has been rehearsed. Right.
Play or a concert?
Say again?
Play or a concert?
Oh, play.
Play. Takeout or dining in?
Oh, see, I'm the time to manage my husband. Quick answer, takeout.
Okay. So what's the strangest food you've ever eaten?
There is a whole host of things that I had in Morocco that I don't even know what it was, but I think the thing that I knew that it was weird was a camel burger.
Oh.
And it was good.
I was going to say, would you try it again?
Oh God, yes.
You would. I've been to Morocco, I didn't have camel burger. Damn, need to go back. Okay. Bow tie or necktie?
Necktie.
Okay. Stephen Sondheim or Andrew Lloyd Webber?
Oh, Stephen Sondheim.
Good for
Please.
you. I'm so glad you said that. Sorry, my lord. Well, Charlie, it's been great. Cheers.
Indeed.
Always good to see you. It's great to learn a little bit more about you, actually. So, but I'm sure I'll see you again at the Capitol Theatre very soon.
Indeed.
And hopefully we'll see you again for another Yakima Wine Time. I want to say a very big thank you to the Yakima Visitor Centre for hosting us again today. This is a really wonderful facility, and it's very nice of them to share some wine with us and some good conversation. But we'll see you again on another Wine Time Yakima very soon. Charlie, it was a pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers.